Hello guys, this is the Emperor. Welcome to Polton Talk. We're gonna talk about why Dragon Age Inquisition was never a great game, but a good game. There's a clear lack of dip. My current progress with Dragon Age Inquisition, I have clocked in around 210 hours worth. This is almost my second or third time. My last time I'm gonna play it is with mods for the more banter and stuff like this. But this time it was legit on PS5. We are gonna dive in because I'm 210 hours in. I can explain it more fun because I put a lot of time in. But over the course of years when the game launched, initially launched and stuff like this, I put 150 hours, then I played it again when Dread Pressure came out. I did all of the DLC, that's another 200 hours. So I'm clocking in around 700 hours length over the course of the game has since release. Okay guys, we're going to start with the unobtainable in this game. Some codex options cannot be obtained at all. One such instance is tutorial number 16. Unobtainable at all. There are missable codex options where we don't know what the hell they are still to this day. Here's another annoying part. Even across playing multiple playthroughs, like how in Dragon Age Origins, you can collect different specializations, different perks, different codexes, and you theoretically with one single playthrough, you can 100% the game. Technically, in Dragon Age Origins, you can't for this game. There's no way possible. You just can't, and that sucks. You can never 100% this game. It's not possible. Unless you're cheating. It sucks. It shouldn't be like this. I'm surprised nobody called it out. It sucks. There's no replayability factor. It didn't force me to replay it. Like, I played every single Origin because the game forced me. If I wanted to 100%, I had to replay every single thing. Moving on from that, I believe no game should take you 200 hours to complete to 100% unless it has adequate amount of content. If you're walking from point A to point B and just collecting stuff, that's not fun. That's not an experience. You're just filling it up with padding. This is why people don't like open world games, right? This is why games like God of War, even though it's semi-hub world type of open-esque world, it's not even open world, and it doesn't waste your time. You can complete the game God of War 2018 in 60 hours, everything 100%. You can complete the game God of War Ragnarok in 80 hours, 80 to 90 hours. It doesn't waste your time. This is not the case with this game, and that's the sad part. It's not the case with this game. This game has an issue of overloaded padding. No game should take 200 hours to complete. It shouldn't take that long. Like, what are you doing in 200 hours that you need that much time to complete? God of War 2018 didn't require that much to 100%. And it's a phenomenally better game than Dragon Age Inquisition. It's a more linear game. It's focused. There's too many collectibles. There's too many useless collectibles in the game. They're too useless to even matter. No one cares about the rift because they don't change nothing. No one cares about codex that's sprayed around. There's too many fetch quests in the open world. But we will get onto that in a bit. Let's start with the most combat. Let's start with the most egregious part of this game. One of the most egregious parts. It's the combat behavior, especially on Nightmare. It is outright garbage. No two ways to defend it. Origins was okay. 2 was pretty good. This one is garbage. No two ways. Your comrades can't think for themselves at all. It's a damn truth. They will be constantly dying at Nightmare. You're fighting a dragon, you're stuck on one spot. And what's the point of even micromanaging it if they die in a couple hits anyway? Even if you get the best crafted armor, even if you do, they can't think for themselves. It's limited behaviors for no reason. These companions you take are banter fodder. That's it on Nightmare. They're banter fodder. This is why I recommend play on normal. Don't play on Nightmare. If you're a new person, play on casual or normal. Don't even think about playing on Nightmare or hard difficult. No point. It's the truth. It's the damn truth. If you want to have an annoying time, you're gonna be a one man. You're gonna be a one man, one woman, or one person army. No two ways about it. I was talking about banter. The banter in this game is so horrible. It doesn't trigger correctly. It's either 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. This is a huge problem with this game, especially when each banter lasts around 10 to 20 seconds. And you have around 5 to 6 hours ish of banter in the base game to go through. Oh my god, like, really? Well, my 210 hours, I barely even experienced 10. No, out of my 210 hours, I barely even experienced 1 hour and 30 seconds of banter. I barely even experienced that. When you have that much banter, you want to experience at least half of it or the majority of it, and you only miss a couple of it, right? That's the ideal setting. You only miss around 25% of the available banter in an RPG, right? You don't miss 80% plus 80% of the banter available in a normal playthrough. You don't want to do that. You want to see most of it, and you're left with a small amount. One thing I love about Mass Effect Andromeda is if you're in the car, it plays the banter. They need a system in place in Veilguard where it automatically plays the banter. This is really bad. No, horrible. You literally have to play the PC version with a mod. Like, they need to have a better way to trigger banter in the options where you can set the time how you want it to trigger. I want my banter to trigger every 5 minutes. It triggers every 5 minutes. I want to trigger every minute. It triggers every minute. There should be a choice. One of the most famous towns in Dragon Age is Red Cliff Village. It feels like a shadow of what it was in Dragon Age. It feels basic. I don't feel like it's a Red Cliff Village. It feels like another NPC village. It shouldn't feel like this. Red Cliff is one of the most prime spots in the Dragon Age community. It held up. Like, you gotta see the magnificence of it. Right? You gotta see the amazingness of it. I can't see Red Cliff Castle. Like, Red Cliff Castle was not that far off. I can't see it. You just visit it and you forget about it. It became a basic NPC village. It does not matter anymore. It does not matter. Like, it makes me disheartened. It makes me sad. Like, where was the magnificence of the first time you visited in Origins? You go down the slope. You see on the left, you see the inns, you see the shop, you see the barn. Like, it lost that flavor. You were just not amazed by it, which is really sad. Let's talk about the open world aspect of this game. Every single collectible in the base game is useless. Except for codex you find, the mosaics, pretty much, but everything collectible, like for exploring the open world, like the rifts, like the items, like the astraniums, like they're pretty much useless. They are, for the most part, useless. It's the basic collectible system you see in most open world games. You can argue against it, but it's a waste of effort. It's a waste of time. You can see BioWare's ability to tell a story, because whenever you enter a linear area, like a chateau or the area where the time stopped in the Hissing Waste, I think, or the Western Approach, I forgot which one it is. You can feel the magic of their storytelling. You can feel like they're at home telling this type of story when they're focused. You can see BioWare's ability to tell a story when it's focused. The best quest they have is when you're in the linear areas. The Winter Palace is a perfect example. One of the best quests, linear. They have about 6 to 7 quests. It should have been more of that, and less in the open world, because it's a waste. It's a waste of their time, wasted effort. And this is not just BioWare's fault. I'm not gonna sit here and say BioWare. No, most developers don't know how to do open world games. Most developers do not know how to, because open world, the only way an open world game could work if it's meticulous in nature. If every single area you develop is very meticulous, has nothing to do with collectibles, It's very meticulous on its quest. It's like a small game in each area. With Dragon Age, each area has a small quest, but after that quest, it's useless. It's a waste of time and effort. When you have a controlled area being developed, more effort will be put, more time. In an open world game, that they do it just to pad the time. But most devs need to answer this question: do you want an open world game, or does your game need to be open world? There's a difference. Dragon Age Inquisition didn't need to be an open world. It wanted to be, and that's the difference. One perfect example is there's only 10 to 20 quests that matter. 10 to 20 side quests. This is considered companion quests and other people's quests that actually matter. So you have 10 to 20 quests that actually matter. And one of the quests, like I said before, times type of quest, where a side quest, where a mage falls in position, the chateau quest, the Imp Shall Keep, or a couple of other keep, the Crestwood, were really good. The two Elven Temples, the Elven Dungeons, they were all good. Linear is their talent, is where their talent thrives in Dragon Age Inquisition. When you focus on the main story or talking to people, and not when you deal with the open world, that game is a great game. But the open world holds this game back. It does. Like the power, one good example is the power system, where you need a certain amount of power to progress. Because you have to get power, you have to play the open world, which forces you to do collectibles, to do the next quest. On top of that, you gain so much power. I think at the end of my game, after doing everything with all the DLCs, I still had 260 power remaining, which is a currency used on the war table to unlock in areas and completing missions, or unlocking areas and unlocking missions. It becomes useless at the end. One good way to solve this is, instead of the wait time, you use power to replace the wait time. Either wait an hour, 2 hours, or pay 20 power to skip this process. In spite of this, I had more fun at the war table because it gave more context and more codex, and you had Liliana, Colin, and Josephine talking. You had these quips from them, these banter from them, which was amazing. And you had more codex option. And the war table is one of the most amazing parts of the game. Now we'll go into more of a deep dive into the game. The combat is basic as hell. There's no two ways about it. It's basic. What I can say is, for the combat in general, Dragon Age 2 is the cream de la crop. Dragon Age 2 is the cream de la crop. Next issue. When you get to Skyhold, you get access to your first spec. Then the rest of the game, which is the majority of the game, when you unlock all these other areas. So you go from 7 to around 20, around 7 to 20, with only one specialization. And this is the only game that did this. Dragon Age 1, Dragon Age 2 you could pick a different specialization. I don't know why they didn't choose this game. And the way you earn specialization from a random NPC, you have companions that have studied it, that have first-hand experience at this, and you use a random NPC. No, you should be able to get 2 points through each level, and you unlock the specialization you want through that. Then there needs to be a return to this system. This type of system needs to return. The dragon fights, after the first time, the dragon fights are pretty much okay. But what I liked is less dragon fights, but more of a development. The reason the High Dragon was really good in Dragon Age Origin because it was very developed. It has strategy built into it. In Inquisition, you're really attacking the legs, all the legs, falls down, attack the legs, rinse and repeat. You just can't trust your companion because you're gonna have to micromanage it as hell, and it's better to save your potions and do it yourself. That's the truth of the matter. There's no point trusting your companions with anything. They are banter fodder. You attack the legs, it breathes fire. Here's the strategy. Legs, it breathes fire, or it gets armor. Breathes fire, gets armor. Dragon fight was the first one, because it actually moved its position near the end of the boss fight. It actually call minions It was the most interesting one. You basically need to be a tank to kill the dragon. Basically, they were. It was cool after the first two, but they dropped off. Dragons, yeah. Okay, let's talk about the Jaws of Hakon. Was another boring open world section until you get to the linear parts. Was another boring open world section until you get to the linear parts, or until the town, where it shows and expands upon it. This is what I was saying. They're not the Dragon Age team, the BioWare team, are not good. Are not good in open world areas. They're good at combat, but a certain BioWare team was good at combat because from what we saw with Mass Effect Andromeda. But they're not good in open world section. They're not good in open world. We've seen it time and time again. As with most developers, as with BioWare, they're not good in open world. And with most developers, they need to drop this idea of the open world because you're not good at it. Just because it's easy, you're trying to make great games, not mediocre games. There's a difference. Descent was amazing, except for two things. The bolters on Nightmare can basically kill you in less than 15 seconds. If you have 2-3 bolters, they can literally destroy you in less than 15 seconds. You literally have to hide it behind a rock. And on Nightmare, there's a dog spawn wave in Descent that will take you at least 1 to 2 hours of constant back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, killing these bosses, waiting till you get your focus up, till you do the rift, blah blah blah. It's horrible Nightmare. Besides these two, perfect, perfecto. Good for what it was. Okay, let's talk about the next one. Trespasser. Trespasser. It was one of the greatest pieces of content ever made. You really, it was. Trespasser is or was one of the greatest pieces of content ever made. No, I'm just joking. It was. Trespasser, cream de la crop. The cream of the crop. No one. That is Dragon Age. That is Dragon Age. That is Dragon Age. Trespasser is Dragon. And if we get Trespasser level of content in Veil and Dreadwolf and Veilguard, not Dreadwolf but Veilguard, that's gonna be epic. If we get every single thing in that level of content, that's all you need. All you need. At the end of the day, I'm excited for Veilguard. On that note, this is the Inferno.